Hello and welcome to Movies, Films, and Flicks. I am Mark Hoffmeyer, and joining me is a man who just got done fighting a rattlesnake. It's Joey Lewandowski. How you doing?
Hi, Mark. I'm good. How are you?
How you feeling? How was that snake bite?
The snake bite, I survived. I got cheered on. I was egged on. I mean, I did ask who wants to see me fight a snake, and then Brad Pitt said, yes, I do. And then I was just like, well, how can I not?
Do you ever wish that you had a gnarly snake bite story?
No. No. Well, it's a very loaded question because the answer is yes, but I don't want to go through the ordeal. You know what I mean? Like, you don't want to. I'm going to say long answer, no. Short answer, probably also no.
Because have you seen Mud?
Of course, I've seen Mud.
Beautiful movie.
Hmm.
He can't get bit again by what is it, a rattlesnake or a water moccasin because he's
Hmm.
already been bit once,
Yeah.
and the toxin can't work again. It's like that'd be a great story. Hey Mark, you want to go swimming in this spring? Oh, I can't.
Better
if I
not.
get if I get bit again by another water moccasin, I'll die. Like that's a flex right there. It
Is
limits
it?
your life. But
All right. I don't want to jump ahead to the movie. I know that we'll ramp into the
no,
movie
jump
here,
into
but
it. Jump.
but there's a gator in this movie, man,
It
and
is. That wouldn't have
you
scared
know
me.
it's the whole the third hour of this movie is terrifying. But
You love this. You said this is like your favorite movie in a long or you like in
yeah,
a
no, this is
long
my favorite
time.
movie in years. So I exist in a world where, to put it in Rotten Tomatoes terms, I know that's near and dear to your heart. If a movie is between like 45 and 55, I'm like, this is probably gonna be my favorite movie. Where like critics don't know what to make of it, I'm like, I'm probably gonna love it. Um, my co-host over on Too Fast Too Forever, Joe Two, says he wants above 90 and below 10. He wants the stuff that's like unequivocally great and unequivocally trash, and like that's where he lives. And I'm like, yeah, I get that. I see the appeal in those, but that like Spring Breakers, Babylon hits for some people, doesn't hit for other people. That's where I live. And I went into this. I think I saw this on New Year's Eve, maybe, and I was just like, I think I'm gonna love it. I don't know. I had the sense, I had gotten the vibe that the internet was split on it, and I think that also helped because after I checked, I saw that like most of Letterboxd seemed to like it. And I feel like that would have put like a weird kind of pressure on it. But like going in, I'm like, I don't know what to make of this. And then the entire time I was like glued to the screen and I loved it. And which made me very nervous to watch it again this week because when I love a thing so much, I'm like, will it keep the magic? And it did. I still think this movie is incredible. I still think this is one of the best, most ambitious, craziest, wildest, over the topest movies that's been made in a while. And like, if someone's like, I hate that movie, be like, yes, I fully understand and empathize, and I think you are right to hate it. But I love this movie.
When I watched it, this is gonna be I don't know if you're gonna hate this comparison, but I remember I got a screener for Wonder Woman 1984 and I watched it. And it
Okay.
was probably like 3 weeks before the movie came out. And I
Okay.
watched it and I went, like people are not gonna I enjoyed it because it's insane, right?
Right. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
like Chris Pine takes over a dude and like
Yeah. Hmm.
you have Kristen Wiig running all over the place, Pedro's just like being a genie, and you're just watching it and you're going, man, this is a blank. Like they did whatever they wanted. Patty
Right.
Jenkins, and justifiably so, because Wonder Woman's incredible. I
Hmm.
love Wonder Woman. But I watch it, I'm like, ooh, people aren't gonna like this. And then when I watch Babylon, it's a similar thing. I watched it at home. I wish I could have caught it on a theater, but I got it sent to me and I watched it and I really liked it. I liked how rambunctious it was. Like, I don't think it goes there. I don't think it's as hard hitting as, say, a Whiplash, but it's more of a big, bold theatrical experience loaded with energy. I mean, they
Yeah.
shot on 35 millimeter film. It's like a love story, a film. It's just exuberant. They wanted to be the most lively thing ever made. I remember watching, going, yeah, a lot of people aren't gonna like this, but it's the same feeling I got. And then that led me back to like The Happening, Silence,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
these movies where like M. Night at the peak of his powers. You have Martin Scorsese making Silence. I'm like, who's this for? I love
Right.
it, but who's it for?
Yeah.
And then I watch Babylon, and it's in the first 2 minutes, it almost matches Scary Movie in the poop pee barf category. There's elephant poop and there's pee. So like
Yeah.
there's no vomit, like
Yeah.
giant vomit until later. So it almost tied Scary Movie's record with scatological jokes. But then it sort of bounces all over. It kind of pinballs. The movie feels like a pinball, whereas Whiplash, La La Land, and First Man were very focused, like very, very, very focused on the pursuit of greatness.
Hmm.
And so this one, I understand exactly what it's doing. I love all the costumes. I think Margot Robbie, the energy she had to keep up on set blows
Yes.
my mind. Like
Unbelievable.
no amount of Red Bull could have kept me awake for everything that I had to do on set. What she was doing. I mean, just she said the hardest part was just having like the cardio to do what she needed to do in this movie. And I still think that Manny should have gotten Diego Calva should have gotten an Oscar nomination because I absolutely believed in his character. And but then I watched and I was like, but none of the characters' lives are fully explored. It never goes like
Yeah, it's
Requiem
it's
for a
it's a
Dream.
feeling. It's
Yeah.
about like a time and a place and a feeling, right? It's not like a story. Like, so I was doing some research about this, which I sometimes do, sometimes don't when I'm a guest on other podcasts. But I was like, I bet there's probably a crazy backstory to this movie, and like there kind of is, but not really. Like I was looking through IMDb, like I didn't go like do a super deep research dive, but I was like kind of underwhelmed by like a lack of like stories. But it seems like this is the movie that Damien Chazelle always wanted to make. Pitch this in like '09, and people were like, dude, this is too much. Like you haven't even made a movie. You know what I mean? Like it's just like you got to make some other movies first, and then like once you like have like a resume, you can like maybe make this. But like he's wanted to make this for like 14 years before before he actually does. And can you imagine like I mean this does kind of feel like the type of movie that like a first time filmmaker wants to make and can't make, and only someone who has the wild success of like a La La Land and a Whiplash and a First Man um is allowed to make. And I don't know that he'll ever be allowed to make this again because I don't think that like people liked it enough to take another chance on it. But man, am I glad they did.
I mean, listen, it pulled 15 million domestic, and that's unfair. But it's you're absolutely correct. I remember what I think one of my first thoughts was this only got made because of his wild success of his
Mm-hmm.
previous three movies. And so this they gave him a black Amex, they gave him tons of studio space. They gave him like just the sets, man. This like I watched the 30-minute behind the scenes documentary, and it's quite loaded for a movie that didn't do too well. But the sets by Florencia Martin, the cinematography by Linus Sangren, like just everything about it like, is just so big and grand, but I feel like it's almost unnecessarily so. uh which call me, but you know what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
I love this movie. I do. I bought it. I love it. I've watched all the extras. I've immersed myself in the world. I read all his interviews. I looked up what movies influenced him.
Mm-hmm.
I i have nothing but I'm so happy that this movie exists. But what I was thinking about is Whiplash, Miles Teller, J.K. Simmons, La La Land, Emma Stone, Ryan Gosling, First Man, Ryan Gosling, a little bit of The Crown. I forget her name. Claire
Claire
Foy.
Foy.
She's
Mm-hmm.
amazing. But like he told the entire story of landing on the moon in a film, and he
Yeah.
kept it very intimate. This one, I think, is almost the first party is 28 minutes. And yes, it does introduce the characters. Yes, it does sort of set them up. But I think if he would have taken maybe 10 minutes off that, 10 minutes off the snake bite, like, or 5 minutes off that, like, and just trimmed, keep it 3 hours and 15 minutes long, but just trimmed some of the like, I don't know, gratuitous bottles going up butt, sex, puke,
But it's like
vomit.
it's a movie about excess though, right? You mean like it
Yeah.
has to be like I think it's like telling the story of like Hollywood pre-Hays Code or whatever, and like extras getting killed on screen. They're like, well, he was a drunk, right? Like we could
He
just write it.
walked
Like
into it.
it's just like the craziness there. And like I get that it's not necessarily a satisfying narrative. I agree that like there are places to trim that if you want to flesh out and be like, well, like instead of just like Nellie's mom is in a mental institution, like that's all we need to know about it, right? Like we could actually have like a story there or something. I get it, but also at the same time, I just love like I think I just love maximalism and I love like just
Yeah.
excess and things that are crazy. And like I love really small intimate stories too, but I also just love like excess for the sake of excess. And you know that I love a late title drop. And when that opening party
Yeah.
is 28 minutes long or whatever, and then they drop the title, I'm just like, I'm home. This is it. I'm here. This is I love this.
3142. I wrote it
Yeah,
down because I
it's
knew you would love it.
beautiful. It is beautiful. And you're like, okay, and we still have 2.5 hours this movie left. Awesome. Cool. Let's settle in.
And listen, it is very backseat driver of me to kind of say let's take out the excess. But I just like, I want, I guess me mainly, I just want more of Diego Calva as Manny, because
Sure.
you know what he does for me is I worked on like 150 sets, and I'm sure MFF listeners are tired of listening to my set stories. Like, Mark, this has been forever, but I spent years of my life on them. And Manny, when I watch him in this movie, when I watch Diego in this movie, I believe him when he's
Yeah.
moving the elephants, when he's moving the people, when he's making the quick decisions. Like, I never reached the heights that he did, but I was in a very similar position where people just sort of trusted me. Mark, you're on set today. Okay, go to first team. Mark, you're on set today. Here's 40 cars. Mark, you're on set today. Here, we'll get these 200 extras. Mark, here's 40 monsters. Mark, we're flipping a bus today. Let's go figure this out. Like, Mark, we're blowing up these cars. Let's get everyone back. Like, I felt like you're trusted on set. And so
Sure.
watching him inhabit that world, normally I hate movies about making movies. And this one's all about being maximalist. So you
Hmm.
can kind of forgive some things about the film sets, but watching him and the way he exists on this planet, in this world, like I felt like I knew him.
Sure.
I've watched this movie 3 times, and I really believe that I know Manny. It's like I've known Manny's. I know people who are Manny,
I
and
I
and
wonder if that's because, so from what I read, like the Nelly character and the Jack character and the Sydney character are all kind of like based on some kind of version of a real person. And I think that Manny was kind of like maybe written for the movie. So it feels like he's more like he's fleshed out better and more relatable because he's not just like, oh, this is this silent film actor who couldn't quite transition to talkies, or here's this actress who like was a little bit too sexually provocative for
Clara
the
Bow.
public at the time or whatever, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. It's just like because they're playing archetypes, I think, by design, but Manny is kind of like the glue that holds the movie together. And I think that's kind of like I think it's totally understandable why you would relate more because I think he's like a more fleshed out character, right?
and
Because he's not just like he's not a stand-in for X, Y, or Z. He's just like that he's everyone in the industry kind of he's the audience too. He's the one who like admires and idolizes the movies and wants to be a part of it, and then he sees and just like, ooh, this is both good and bad.
I guess I just, as a film nerd in me, I want to be more of like a history lesson because even though this movie has no place for it, but like when sound came in, and sorry if you know this, Joey, but like I guess for everyone listening, like when sound came in, there had to be changes in the industry
Hmm.
because that brought in sound stages. Every single theater, they had to sign agreements to use the same one and not branch out and make 8 different ones. So it became this massive company agreement where every theater had to have sound. Like you had to like before you just had a piano and like
Right.
a record player. So then they had to go install sound in every single theater, which was a massive undertaking,
Hmm.
thousands of theaters. And then you have sound stages built because you got to capture good sound. Like you can't just have a wrench drop and break everything. And I love on Wizard of Oz, the Technicolor camera was so loud they had to put it in like a glass case. And so I love that scene where the DP is in there during the talkie just melting because it was just so loud, and you had to pump everything with lights to
Right.
make it as bright as possible. So but I love that like money changed it. Like pre-code Hollywood, pre-Hays Code, pre sound, it was more about artists and like just you had Murnau ripping off um Dracula, making Nosferatu. You had some crazy German stuff coming out. You have crazy French stuff. And it was also like I get where they're getting like Wild West. You go out to LA, you build a city in the middle of nowhere, you start filming, and like sound just like destroyed it because it became about money then and it became about commerce.
Hmm.
And so you feel that a little bit in this movie. And I like that it's more of a gritty version of Singing in the Rain, which is what Chazelle wanted. But I don't know. And like at the end when he's watching the movie and just he sees certain scenes that he remembers in the film. I don't know. I love that transition because like a lot of people, for me, like I love film. I've always loved film, but I also know that money runs it. And so like I don't have this really romanticized ideal of it. I know it's an industry and I like to deal with like the patterns of industry, not just like film saves lives and it's like this amorphous
Right.
thing, like it'll change the world. But for me, it's all about money and patterns and repetition and what's hitting, what's not. And so I wanted a little bit more of that, but I still like if that means I get less of Brad Pitt being awesome, less of Margot Robbie, just being a force of nature, less of Diego, like then no. But I guess that's just what I wanted a little bit because I don't think Giselle ever goes there with his like excess. Like it's very fun, it's loud, it's bright, but like he never. I don't think his goal is to murder you like a Requiem for a Dream does, which is a totally different movie. But I still love it, and I just talked for a long time. But I have a lot of thoughts about this movie, and I'm finally talking about it. And like Mitch Hedberg said, he'll hold the cable on his microphone, pinch it, and then let go, and a bunch of jokes will come out at once. So like
Yeah.
that's how I am with Babylon.
No, I think what's interesting is that I can see what you're saying, and I can also see people saying that like him touching on that stuff that they could probably want none of that in there, right? Like I just want it to be more fun. Like I don't want the history, I don't want the commerce thing. Like I think it exists in a middle ground where you could probably feel either way about it. I like the balance. I think what's interesting about this movie is that it's kind of three different movies, and one it's kind of the like it's like building up to when they enter the movies, and then it's them in the movies, and then it's them like sort of the fall. Like it's the rising action, it's the middle action, it's the falling action. And like the three tones are very different. And I think like this is the kind of movie that like if it was an 8-hour miniseries, I think it could be great. I think I would just unlike you, I will say, I think I genuinely and generally like movies about making movies. Like I like La La Land a lot for that reason. Like I think Whiplash is probably his best movie, but I think I like La La Land in this movie more because I think they're just more like I like that romantic, like I like a guy who likes movies, right? And I think that he gets that across, and I can see like why people are tired of it, and I can see why people are like, we should stop giving these movies awards. Like when La La Land was up for like Best Picture or whatever, and like for 30 seconds it beat Moonlight, and they're like, oops, just kidding, it's Moonlight. And people were like, what? Because Moonlight's a great piece of art. Like, and
Yeah.
it's a beautiful
Art.
movie. And I don't think La La Land's a better movie, but I kind of like it more because it hits that like nostalgic romantic vibe of like old Hollywood and whatever. And I think this does the same thing. And like I'm bummed that this didn't get more, even though I don't really love the Oscars, I'm bummed that this didn't get more Oscar recognition because I think there's so much good stuff here. And I don't think he's like making this movie to win awards because I don't think you make any 3 hour and 8 minute movie to win awards. But I think there's so much here that I think reception to this and just sort of unfair criticism or whatever kind of chase people away. And this movie's not for everybody, but I think a lot of people would like, if not the whole thing, parts of it, right? Like I think there's a lot in here for a lot of people, but I also know like this is not a movie that like I would recommend to like my parents. You know, it's just it's like it's too much.
Yeah. When
So
Eleanor St. John is talking to Jack Conrad, and she's like, "You did nothing wrong. You're just sort of done." Like they aren't like it, I like that about it, and I like that sometimes it's irrational. And I think the hate behind this movie just sort of distorted the way everyone looked at it, and because of the height that Chazelle was on and the intimacy of his movies. I mean, listen, like I know a lot of people make fun of like film Twitter or like film bros for their love of films, but I think Whiplash is included in that. But it's also a very good movie. It's a tight movie. It's a well edited movie. I think if you look at the short film, you look at the performances. I mean, it's a movie that should be praised for its editing and its performances and the way that you just sweat watching someone play the drums. Like it's a tight movie, and I think the expectations for this were so high. And then Eric Roberts was like, Margot Robbie's going to win an Oscar. And then also, I think people are really ready to jump on Margot Robbie because, oh, she was in this one movie that didn't do well. And then she's in this movie and it doesn't do well. Her career is dead. It's like, no,
right.
Her career is not dead. She's going to be crushing it for years to come. She's going to be producing for years to come. Give us more promising young woman.
Like, she's Barbie, baby. And she's going to be fine.
Exactly. She's Barbie, baby. And it's, I think the narrative just sort of, people just seemed like they didn't want this movie. It was really interesting, even though you have some really good performances. Like I really thought Diego was going to get more love for this film. Like I was confident of it. And then I think once the wind started blowing against it, then because everything's about momentum in the industry, man. A movie gets momentum and it rolls with it. And the momentum was not with Babylon this year.
I think it's just the thing. Like I'm curious, and I think it came out at an interesting time where it's not going to, because this came out in Oscar season, right? This came out like when the good movies come out. But a movie that's in theaters now, as we're recording this, is Beau is Afraid, which I think is very similar in a lot of ways, where it's also 3 hours long. It's also a director that basically is at a point where like no one can, like if someone says no, he can ignore it. You know what I mean? Where it's like people will still give, you know, Ari Aster or Damien Chazelle advice, but I'm sure at this point, like at least until they fail and they flop, they can be like, yeah, I'm gonna do my thing though, and like they're gonna like be able to do it, right? And I also loved Beau is Afraid, but I can also see people hating Beau is Afraid, and I think that those are the kind of things where it's like you take a shot, you release a 3 hour movie that is like either very personal to you or personal, like I don't know, like it's like as crazy as this movie and Beau is Afraid are, they both feel very personal. Like I feel like Damien Chazelle's like, this means a lot. Like you can tell that he loves movies and telling the story of like the movie industry growing and changing and becoming what it is today, even if it's not like him working through stuff about like guilt he feels about his mom, like Ari Aster might be doing. Like I can see him being like, this movie means a lot to me, and him making this movie. And I think that there's something that I find special in that. And then when the movie kind of flops financially, I'm curious to see what each of them do next. And I have no idea how Beau is Afraid is doing in theaters. I can't imagine it's going to like make a ton of money, because like who's going to see a 3 hour long very dark, weird comedy about like Jewish guilt, kind of like it's a very hard sell. Also, like a guy who made two horror films making not really horror, like maybe kind of touching on it at points. Like, I don't think it's gonna do well. So I'm curious to see like what each of these, what they do next, because like they're both clearly great filmmakers who make movies that I love, but like you kind of gotta rein it in maybe because Hollywood's like, all right, like we gave you your blank check movie. Now here's $10 million or whatever. What can you do with this?
Absolutely. And I actually got a little bit worried. That's a great point that you make. And I got a little bit worried about Babylon. And I already watched it, but after watching this half-hour documentary about it and hearing the words, like they're saying Chazelle is fearless. They're like, we put it together so quickly. It's bigger than them. He's uncompromising. It's debaucherous. It's ambitious. It's bold. They're talking about it captures the spirit of film. They're a force of nature. Like demolish expectations of a period piece. Gigantic bills always had to have activity in the foreground and background. It's Sergio Leone exteriors, Barry Lyndon interiors. We shot wide open on anamorphic 35, the pulse of energy. We don't want you stuck in a boring period piece. This movie will define our age of film. It is a singular vision directed by someone who loves cinema. It's a ride for an audience, a carnival. Like those were all things that were said during the 30-minute documentary. And I kind of went, okay. Now I kind of know this movie a little bit more. I know it's classic EPK, but everyone was so effusive in their praise that I kind
Do
of
you
went,
think they're afraid to criticize it? Like, do you think that they were all earnest? Like, do you think it's just like,
yeah,
ooh, like this is like until he misses? Like, I don't know that First Man hit in a way that like La La Land was beloved. And I know people did not like La La Land for any number of reasons, but it felt like size wise, First Man was definitely a smaller film. But it still felt like, oh no, he's made three successful movies that people have seen and liked and received awards. And you're almost like, and that's where I think like a lot of reviews, like I think it's largely with music. I think it's more so with music than film, but also maybe also with film, where like you have an artist or a director who is beloved in the industry and everything they've made is good. It might not be the best thing of all time, but they've always made good stuff. And then like a new thing comes out and like you see outlets that are like afraid to give it a bad review because it's like, oh, I can't be the one to criticize Boy Genius. I mean, a band that I love and I love their new album a lot. But it's just like everyone they like listen, you're like, oh, everyone's gonna love this because Phoebe's powerful and we can't say no. We can't be like, this is only good, it's not great. And so everybody's just like, it's the best thing of all time. Like there's this weird, like the review cycle or whatever. And I think that's the same thing with film. It's just like whether you're reviewing it or you're just a talking head in this thing, it's like I can't be the one to criticize Damien Chazelle until like there's sentiment out there that like, oh, maybe he doesn't make only good things. And so I'm wondering what people like is the next one to be like, it's a real return to form for Chazelle. It's like, it's not like that last thing or whatever. Just like, I don't know.
listen, I think I don't. I guess what I think is like he had three big hits in a row. First Man maybe opened up the door a little bit for some criticism. Look at what happened to Malik. Like Malik made what Tree of Life, which absolutely beautiful film, but I've kind of noticed some grumbling about it. Once the dinosaurs, like Sean Penn's like, I didn't understand it. You're working on a Malik movie. Like it's the simplest movie to understand. He's just thinking about his brother's death years later, and he's just thinking about the world and creation, and everything's a wisp because it's a memory. Like it's the most easy movie to condense down into 3 sentences, but people are like, I don't get it.
Right.
And then To the Wonder comes out, and they're like, oh, there's so much spinning, and it's so stupid. Like, and then the Malik like hate just kicked that door open. So I think maybe with Babylon, he had these hits, but then he makes this 3 hour long movie that isn't quite all there. It's very, also I think people sense blank check movies too. Like I think like it's a completely different story, but like Waterworld or other movies like that where someone just gets an obscene, like Evan Almighty, people get this obscene amount of money, and you're like, man, he made a 3 hour long 80 million epic about the transition to sound and film, and I think people are a
Didn't
little
Sing in
bit
the Rain already do that 80
yeah.
years ago? Like, why do we need right? Yeah, yes, I agree. I also wonder, like, going back to like when I learned that he was pitching this in '09, like, I wonder if this is like a movie he just had to make at some point to get it out of his brain. Like, I'm finally able to make this movie. I know that people aren't going to necessarily love it, but I just gotta make it so that I can think of something else.
That's actually a great thing because I'm on a scale 1/1 million, so the size. but I've had some data ideas that have tanked for me, but I just had to get them out.
Yeah.
Like I really did. Like it's like I got to do it. Got to do it.
Hmm.
And so I'll do it and they tank. And so but the best ones I do are the ones that just sort of happen organic. Like
Right.
this one didn't seem to happen organically. I think he's always had it on his mind. He finally got his budgets. It's been on his mind. And he did it. But listen, like I listen to him talk about film, and I listen to him talk about Intolerance, directed by D.W. Griffith, the massive sets that he loved. He loves the sets like La Dolce Vita, like that had sound, but like he's talking about Mean Streets, and he loves like the rock and roll energy of that. And whenever he talks about the movies he loves, talking about the huge builds of the silent era, and like Intolerance, and the way it changed color filters and the way it dealt with that, and then talking about the rock and roll energy of course Scorsese, and then just talking about all these different cinema, all these movies that he loves. I can see them all in Babylon. So he's clearly drawing from things he loves
Yes.
here. Like he loved making this, but I just I don't know. I just wish I could have seen it in a smaller scale. I do. Like Diego gets the job and he works his way up, and like that's what happens, and that's what I would have liked to have seen. Uh, but still, I sound like I'm dunking on this movie.
Did
I mean,
you
I've
like
watched it
it
three
more or
times.
less the second time? Like you saw it back in December, November, whenever you got the screener, and you're like, "Ooh, I don't know if people are gonna like it," but I know I think I know you liked it back then. I know you
Yeah.
like it now. Like, did it lose the match? Because I think part of something to me that a movie is this big and long and overstuffed is that you don't know what's coming next. And I think especially with this movie, where the third act is a horror film, seemingly out of nowhere, right? It's just like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, Tobey Maguire's here and he's terrifying, right?
It's
And
just
like,
every Tuesday for him though. Is what
yeah.
I'm. Yeah.
But like part of it is not knowing what's coming next. And so even if you don't remember, like part of me was just like, because I watch too many movies, and I have a really hard time remembering things I've seen unless I've seen it recently or more than once. And so I saw this, in theaters 4 months ago or whatever. And I was like, I remember a lot of this. And I think part of it is just because I'm like, I can't look away because I don't know what's coming next. I think I was more active in watching it when I saw it than I normally am. But I was worried if it wasn't going to hold up, if I was going to like it less, if I was going to not like it, period. And like, it's still the hit for me in a way that I was just like, even knowing what's coming next, I think the energy just works so well for me, and like the structure and the way it builds and everything. I just loved it so much. I'm wondering, as someone who liked it a lot, but less than me because I have a crazy love for this movie, did it play better? Because I think it could go either way. You could either like it less knowing its tricks, or like it more knowing where it's going, or did you feel about the same toward it?
Let's see. So the first time it came along, I just enjoyed it. And I think I got a lot of my enjoyment from it, knowing that he had a blank check. I
Mm-hmm.
really do. Just
Mm-hmm.
watching the decisions, and even in I just knew, I was like, this is not for everybody. This is one of those blank check movies. So I'm like, I'm just going to sit back and embrace this. Like I love The Happening by M. Night Shyamalan. That's a blank check movie because
Mm-hmm.
it's insane. And he got to do whatever he wanted. And so this one coming out, you have really good moments with Brad Pitt. You have good moments with Margot Robbie, just the entire cast that goes in and out. Gene Smart, watching certain elements of the movie. I'm like, oh, I get that. That's cool. Like sound coming in, and then it kind of takes these twists and turns. I guess for me is I probably like it a little less now
That
because
sounds fair.
you brought up Spring Breakers, and that's filmed in St. Pete. I grew up around there. Like I've been to parties like that, and like that movie takes you to like I feel like that movie took me to some very uncomfortable places,
Sure.
and I felt very uncomfortable. But when Toby Maguire is leading them into the kind of bowels of California, the kind of underground party and the debauch, the real debauchery,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
uh, that never felt really hardcore to me. Like I liked it, but I never felt like, man, I'm getting dragged into hell. I never felt like Goodfellas.
Do you feel
When
like do you think that's because like you probably growing up near St. Pete know people like Alien, and you don't know anybody who is like almost literally the devil?
Yeah, no, I knew those people.
Yeah.
I had nights when I was in cars and I was just like, I got to get out of this car. Like
Okay.
I got to get out. Like I never like yeah, I was like, this is a weird night. Like I had some really weird nights. Like when you train MMA in St. Pete, Florida, and strip malls, you meet some really interesting people.
Sure.
So it's yeah, I mean, I think I connected to it a little bit, but I also knew that like the end gunfight was super stupid. This lady's in ski mask blowing people away, but I would say just more, I don't know, it really affected me. Spring Breakers did. This movie, I just think it's a big ball of energy, but it I think Chazelle seems like a really nice dude, and he's like, I'm gonna lay down the gauntlet by having gigantic elephant poop and a woman peeing on a man.
Mhm.
Like, I'm gonna be like, this movie's intense.
In the first 5 minutes, yeah.
Yeah, in the first 5 minutes. But then I don't think it's that movie. Like, I don't think it has that energy. So it features the excess, but it never has that vibe of absolute debauchery
You
because
know,
he
like
didn't want it to be that.
I wonder, and like this isn't really how movies work because like I don't think watching movies works this way. Like this sort of applies more to like stand-up comedy or like maybe even a TV show or something where it's just like you're super intense at the beginning to sort of scare away the people who you don't want in the room.
He lays the gauntlet down in 5 minutes. Like the
And just
gauntlet's
like
laid.
if you're not on board with this, feel free to leave.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm cool with it because this is the movie I'm making. And then it kind of settles down. I mean, it doesn't really settle down. Like it's still kind of crazy, but it's not elephants pooping. Although there's a much better poop joke in this movie when they're in the bathroom
Oh, they have
and
the
they're
huge
like
fart.
talking about movies and talking about sound, like talking pictures. And he's like, you really think people want sound in their movies? And a guy in a stall just rips out like this, like disgusting, you can smell it just the way that it sounds. And the other guy just goes, yeah, why wouldn't they? And like it's the perfect, like dumb, lowbrow, lowest common denominator joke that I just like I don't normally like that kind of stuff. And something again, I don't know. That's how I knew I was gonna love the movie when like the elephant poop stuff, like 90 seconds in, and I'm laughing along and said like because that could have been a turning point for me. I'm just like, I'm out. But like for something, I'm just like, no, I like that you're going this hard, this quickly and I'm willing to follow like that almost sold it for me or set it for me. I was just like, I'm good. Like wherever you want to go, I'm with you because this is a choice you've made wildly early into the movie. Like people might not even be back from like getting popcorn yet. They might not even be at their seats yet. And you're already like scaring people off. And I just love that.
No, I definitely said I see you. I see you, Damien. Like I see you,
Mm-hmm.
Giselle. Like I see what you're doing. And I think that's why I had a big smile on my face through most of the movie. And you know, just like we talked about the energy of Margot Robbie, the scene when they first have film when they're just screaming at everybody and the DP's dying because it's so hot. Everyone's just yelling about pins and ankles and just the excess of the parties, the snake bite. I think Brad Pitt adds the warmth to this movie when he looks at that woman and he's like, Jen, I'd always look your way. And he's like, what's the biggest tip you ever got? $50. Who was that from? You. And he gives him more. Like he has a warmth to him that I really liked in this movie. And yeah, I like that he scared people away, but I also don't think it's that movie. Like Triangle of Sadness is that movie. That puking scene,
Mm-hmm.
that's when I laughed because I'm like, this is a lot. And I mean, I, I guess I respect him for laying down the gauntlet, but I mean, what if he did the annihilation route where was it Alex
Garland. Yep.
Garland? What he said was, I wanted to be like a lobster in water, where you start annihilation pretty normal, but then the heat slowly gets turned up. So by the time you're boiling, you don't feel it. That's what he did with annihilation. This movie just put you in the microwave
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
put some aluminum foil over you and hit three
Like
hours.
I think with Triangle of Sadness and Annihilation, like the crazy comes like halfway through. Like in Annihilation, when there's the bear that growls like human voice, I'm just like, oh, okay. Like I see where we are now. And then in Triangle of Sadness, like that puking scene like on the boat, but like that's halfway through the movie. Like that's like a
Mhm.
2.5 hour movie. You know what I mean? Like you've had like an hour long relationship drama or whatever, and then that's sort of transitioned into like this sort of like criticism of capitalism and the wealthy and whatever. And then it's just like now it's poop stuff. And it's like, whoa, okay. Like I didn't know how we got here. Like, and I love that movie as well. Like I love all these movies because I think it's just there's been a lot of dare I say, there's been a lot of good poop stuff in movies lately. And I think, I don't normally, maybe I do, but I thought like historically, I don't like that kind of humor. And like I love it in Triangle of Sadness and I love it here. I don't know.
And just the amount of explosive vomit that comes out of Margot Robbie. But I mean, she's a force of nature in this movie, so it makes sense that she would vomit so
Yeah.
effusively into a party. But I think that scene is necessary though because it shows the shift in Hollywood with the money and the new people involved. It became
Mm-hmm.
less about the artistes in the
Mm-hmm.
beginning
Mm-hmm.
and the singing and just people loving that life to money. And you got to speak French, you got to appease these audiences, you got to get the Bible Belt, you got to get the
Right.
West Coast, the Northerners, like, and you got to appease them because there's a lot of money involved now. So I think that scene was important, but I guess I always knew where that was going to go. I don't know. I sound like I don't like this movie, but I very much so enjoy it. I just
Well, I
have
think
weird.
you sound like me on episodes where of my shows where like it's a movie that I mostly liked and I'm harsher on than I feel because there's a movie in there that I think I could have loved and I didn't, right? It's just like you're so close to a thing that I almost really loved and you didn't land. And like I'm like on when I'm like that, I'm trying to piece together like, well, what would I have done differently? And it's a hard game to play. But I think you do sound like you don't like it, but I see where you're coming from, where it's like there are versions of this movie that could be one of your favorite movies, and it just didn't gel together in that way, right?
Yeah, but I still dig it. I still
Yeah.
like it than probably 99% of the population. And also, real quick, so I was a guest. Joey has a show called Too Fast, Too Forever. You and Joe too.
Hmm.
Wonderful show. I've been a guest on that several times. So go listen to that. They just cover Fast and Furious adjacent movies. They do
Hmm.
laps. They do minutes. It's wonderful. Also, you're on 1999, the podcast,
Hmm.
which I was a guest on that. Deep Blue Sea. We talked about. It's another wonderful show. You're doing movies from 2000 now, and then you have your Elvis podcast.
No, we're not
So,
doing movies I want to do movies from
oh,
2000. John won't let me. Still not. Still stuck in 99, unfortunately. But yes,
oh, there's plenty there.
I know. But I think it's funny if we're called 1999 on the podcast and like we do movies from other years. Like, well, why is that? Just like, well, we have these arbitrary rules. But yes, no, still stuck in 99.
Got it. Still stuck in 99, but wonderful show. I was on Deep Blue Sea. So, yeah, just listen to all his shows. They're wonderful. I don't really listen to many podcasts, but I like listening to yours. I listen
Oh,
to Out
thank
Now with
you.
Aaron and Abe. I listen to The Last Action Heroes. Yeah, I just don't have time. I want to listen to Jay when he does his Deep Blue Sea episodes. But yeah, and all the other people who listen to this show, I listen to all your shows as well.
Of
Just letting you know. I love every single podcast that's out. I listen to all of them probably 2-3 times. I'm
course,
listening to it right now. I'm that good, Joey.
he's got the headphones in. I don't know what he's listening to. I can't imagine it's me.
Yeah, I mean, I am bummed that this movie made $15 million
What was the
domestically.
budget? Do you know the budget for
They
this?
said 60 to 80, but I would lean on 80
Honestly,
because
that seems lower than I would have guessed.
I agree. But I mean, look at Spielberg movies. I never think they're never that expensive either. Like
Yeah.
sometimes you look at the budget of a Spielberg movie and you're like, wait, what? So I think he just gets the best in the business and they shoot. And I think, yeah, I mean, but they shot on film. That's crazy.
Well, there's the scene in here where Brad Pitt like as producer calls Greta, right? And it's just like, all the up and coming, like he knows exactly what he's doing. He like gets like an esteemed actress to like work at scale because like he basically like negs her into joining. And I wonder if like I think honestly part of it is probably like people like I want to make a movie with Amy Chazelle. Like I want to be with the guy who made Whiplash and La La Land and First Man and whatever. Jean Smart had a quote where she said when she read this script, she loved the script, but she's like, this is gonna be rated X and no one's gonna see this movie. Like there's no way this is gonna be made and be able to go in theaters. And then they're like, well, it's got Brad Pitt and Margot Robbie. She's like, oh, yeah, I'll do it. So I think it's partly that where it's like you have enough talent that people will be willing to like work for like a smaller or lower quote than they normally would just because like they're a part of something.
I agree. I
I
agree.
don't
I
know.
mean, they probably sign on for back end. Brad Pitt's a producer. He gets
Hmm.
the industry. Margot Robbie's a producer. She gets the industry. They're both pretty rich. I mean, to get this cast, you need to. I mean, you get Tobey Maguire what produced this, so you get him on scale. You can probably bring Diego was not a really established actor. I mean, he had to work with him on an iPhone for months
Yeah.
to find the character. So I think yeah, they probably all understood the game and wanted to work with him. I mean, this is a movie that yeah, I mean, I think he only got it. Imagine if this was $150 million, this would have gotten destroyed. But I mean, you know what? You watch this movie, 80 mil, then you go watch The Gray Man, which is anti-cinema, and like Red Notice, which is
Yeah.
anti-cinema, and they're
Yeah.
$200 million. Now,
Yeah.
granted, they go to Netflix, so you don't have back end, so you got to pay the stars a lot up front because they can't get the back end. That's why some of
Right.
these movies explode. So I get the high budgets, but those movies are Gray Man was a blank check movie, and it's not even a movie. Like I think Ryan Gosling is the best part of it, but I wouldn't even consider that to be. Uh, I know, whatever. I'm hating.
Wait, have you ever on this not to derail you, have you ever defined your definitions of movies, films, and flicks?
Yeah, like a movie is like, let's say what's a good example of just a movie? What's like, oh
Like, is The Gray Man any of those three things?
no,
Okay.
no, like a flick is like Carnosaur. Like you just let's go watch some
Okay.
flicks. Like let's go catch a flick. Let's go catch I don't know, Nightmare on Elm Street 5. And then, a film is Take Shelter to me.
Sure.
A
Hmm.
film is The
Hmm.
New World. A film is Being There. A film is Moonlight, In the Mood for Love. That's a film. When it comes to movies, I would say it's more Tron Legacy, more like
So does this movie seems to maybe exist in a not to make a gray man pun, but like the gray space between movies and film, kind of where it's like he's maybe making a film, people maybe see it as a movie. It's kind of both, it's kind of neither.
Yeah, that's funny because they clearly wanted to release it during the Prestige season, and everyone said it was going to change film forever. So I think he was trying to make a film, but it's a movie.
Yeah.
And this is also subjective to what I define as
Or
cinema.
maybe he wanted to make a movie and people were like, no, 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 man, you make film.
Oh, yeah. I
Because
think
I don't think you make a movie where an elephant poops on the camera in 90 seconds in, you're like, well, maybe. Because like one of my least favorite films of all time, and film, I'm just using film as like a regular now, not the definition we just talked about, but like Nocturnal Animals, I hated with such a passion. And it feels like the kind of movie that I would love. And I was sat in the theater angry, like stewing about that movie. And like Tom Ford starts that movie off with like very overweight women, topless, dancing in slow motion. And I'm just like, what are you doing? Who is this? Like, why are you like so up your own ass, like sniffing your own farts in this way? And like everything from there was just downhill for me. And like I watch it on a different day. Maybe I love it. Maybe I'm just like, this is art, baby. Like I notice it's just a matter of like mindset and where you are and what you're coming in with and like the mood you were in and whatever. And like, and I don't know why some things hit and some things don't, but I get like that struck me as like he wants to make art. This is like Chazelle being like, let's just have some fun.
Absolutely. And like you watch I think you want to have fun, but also you look at the technical scale of this, the oneers, the crane shots on the long boardroom tables. Like they just bring in a giant crane for a boardroom shot to move that through. Hey, where's the techno crane? We're gonna shoot a boardroom scene. So I think it's all about kinetic, like creating that kinetic energy that he wanted and to making it below your expectations of a period piece. But yeah, that's it. So you think he wanted to make a movie, but then people made him make a film. But then maybe people had the expectations that it was going to be a film, and it just turned out to be a romp of a movie.
Yeah, I think that might be because it's like so like because the elevator pitch is like it's a period piece about the transition from silent films to talkies, starring Brad Pitt and Margot Robbie.
Sold.
And it's just like, oh, that's prestige. Like that's like a 9 Oscar nomination movie. And then you're like, all right. And then there's also a scene where Tobey Maguire sees a guy eat a rat or a mouse. And it's like, wait, what?
Mm-hmm. But does that scene hit as hard to you when he eats that rat? It doesn't. I don't. I think Chazelle's just too nice to.
You think it's not messed up enough?
No, I don't. And I think if you're making a movie with explosive diarrhea and puke, like even the puking scene is more comedic. Like the pooping scene's more comedic. The peeing scene's more comedic. Like he doesn't lean. I don't think he leans into the cruel in this movie. He leans more into the bombast. And
okay.
I think that makes for a very fun experience. I've watched 3 times. Like you can't hate a 3-hour movie and watch it 3 times. But I think it might keep it from being a cult classic. I think it might keep it from being a movie where like people are really drawn to it. I think I think people will learn that's not that bad eventually, but I don't think it has enough there to build an audience who become hyper attached to it. Like it doesn't have the quirk of Repo Man that has kept it so relevant through the years. It doesn't have the nastiness of certain like exploitation movies.
That's something I've thought about but not explored enough, that like we're far enough from the 80s to have like cult movies. And I think that they were just like they were making movies in different ways. Like I really wonder, and I don't think there's anything to do but like wait and see what hits. But like I wonder if there is a way to try to figure out what from this is like critically underappreciated, but maybe culturally relevant. Like I don't know, like because movies just come out, are made and are released so different now than they were in the 80s. And I wonder, like, it almost feels like any movie that is popular almost could be called a cult movie because like it's so hard to find an audience for anything. Like we talked about Causeway, like we both like Causeway, and like how many people saw Causeway? How many people even know that Causeway exists?
Exactly.
And like it's on Apple, you know, a relatively prestige streamer, but like it got an Oscar nomination. It has what is one huge actor and one very buzzy up and coming actor, right? Who got the Oscar nom. Like a new Jennifer Lawrence movie available in your home that's Oscar nominated, and people are like, wait, what's that? And like I just wonder, like the fact that anybody sees any movie in particular, I think is a miracle. And so
Yeah.
I don't know if going back to like, will this like garner an audience down the road? I have no idea. I don't know. I think there's just too much stuff now.
Yeah, there's no VHS tapes being handed around. No one's handing you, Empire Records. You get the VHS. You're like, hey, what's this movie? It's Boondock Saints. Go watch it. Oh, okay,
Hmm.
I'll go watch it.
Hmm.
Yeah, no one's gonna hand you a DVD of Babylon and tell you to go watch it. It's gonna like so much content comes through right now. Like, I mean, look at The Night Agent just came through billions of hours of TV, and then wonderful show. But in 2 weeks from now, someone's gonna be watching something else. Silo
Yep.
will be out, and people will be talking about that, and then you have new movies coming out. So uh, yeah, maybe the time of critical reappraisals and cult classics, and also too though, this movie is well made, but it's not weird as like a not weird quote unquote. It's not as out there as a Rocky Horror Picture Show. It's not as like it's not as
No, it's still mainstream, right?
yeah, it's not as strange as a Repo Man. It so like I don't think ever anybody's ever gonna really want to defend it. Like you guys don't understand. Damien Chazelle made a beautiful $80 million movie. You just didn't get it. Like it's never gonna
Right.
have that.
Right.
And so that's why I think this will be an important movie for his career. And some people are like, we're glad he failed because now we can learn from it. Like, shut up. So I think he will learn from this, but I also think I'm happy he made it. Like he deserved. If anybody, I was talking to my wife Megan about this. Like, if anybody had uh, of course he got to make it. I mean, look at his last three films.
Right.
La La Land was gigantic.
Yeah.
Gigantic movie, and Whiplash has just. I mean, you talk to most people and they're like Whiplash. Like, was it Homer talking about food? Like that's the way most people talk about Whiplash. So like when he's like, what does he say? Like donuts or something? It was that's most people
Yeah.
at Whiplash. So I'm glad he made it. I'm glad he did it. I'm still amazed at the what Margot Robbie said. Like I don't think a lot of people appreciate this, where she had to keep up that energy on set. That's a lot of work. Like
Sure.
that's like I think this is I don't know Tiffany Haddish and Girls Trip. This is probably the movie next to that since then that where I've just thought, man, like that's a lot of energy on screen that they had to keep up for 12-hour days. And and I adore that performance. Brad Pitt's always great. Diego, I wish would have gotten more love for this, but yeah, it's just the problem is it's not yeah, it won't it's just I think this might disappear into the ether a little bit. Babylon.
I think there's a certain, I wonder if this is something that he thinks about or the studio thinks about or nobody thinks about, but I think there are enough diehard fans of La La Land to give anything he makes some kind of safety net where like they will keep this movie alive. Like there was a list, and I don't know if I'm gonna be able to find it. I think I probably bookmarked it at one point. But like Letterboxd itself put out a list of like the most obsessively rewatched movies, like the movies that had the most number of people who had logged a movie more than 5 times. And like it was like La La Land and Her and like all these movies that I feel like no matter what happens, those directors will always be fine because they have found a
That one movie.
large, even if it's like a small audience in general. I think every audience is small in general, but they found a large enough audience that will be ride or die for them forever that like they can make a thing like Damien Chazelle could make something that goes to Netflix for like not Netflix is a bad example because they have money to burn or whatever, but like goes to wherever for $10 million and like that like these people are going to champion that forever. You know what I mean? Like I think that he has earned enough goodwill with a large enough audience, considering nothing really gets an audience anymore unless you're a Marvel movie, that I just think you're going to be fine. I don't exactly know what I'm saying, but I
No,
feel like
he'll be fine because
I don't
like
yeah, I don't think it's ever going to really disappear because I think that he has done enough for enough people in just making like Whiplash and La La Land that like there will always be people like, no, you need to also see, you know what you really got to see? You really got to see Babylon.
and I think that's actually a really good point. I mean, you could be a band with several absolute bangers that keep you in relevance for a very long time because people always go back and listen to those songs. I, for me, La La Land once was enough. I will never watch that movie
Oh, I
again.
love it.
Yeah, why do people love La Land?
I don't know. So the first episode we did, Joe and I also did a Ryan Gosling podcast, and the first episode was La La Land because we worked backwards, and he hates that movie. And there's something about it where like I realized very late, not late in my life, but like late. I don't know how to say this. I learned late in my movie career too recently that I like musicals, and so I feel like I was like missing like this whole like part of like the types of movies that I love. And I just feel like there's something that is just like I love both the leads. I think they're funny and charming together. I like the way that it looks. I like the way that it feels. I like the music in it. It just, I don't know. Like I think that like I also largely just kind of want to feel good. And like I think most of that movie, like it doesn't really necessarily like they don't necessarily have a super happy ending together, but there's enough of a happy ending for each of them that like you walk away feeling good. I don't know. I can't really sometimes I can't really articulate why I love a movie, but like La La Land is just a movie that like I've probably seen 4 or 5 times. Like I've seen few movies that much, other than the Fast and Furious, of course.
I mean, listen, the color palette, the performances, the production design. I guess for me, just movies that really idealize Hollywood sort of annoy me sometimes because I worked in the industry for so long, man. And sometimes when I see people just say like cinema is the lifeblood of this, I'm like, oh, come on,
Mm-hmm.
guys. Like, remember Clooney talking about Hollywood? And he's like, we're the last bastion of, liberalism and democracy. And I'm like, yo, shut up. Like, no, you're not. Like, it's, come on, dude. Like, it's, and also, too, I think the massive changes that happened at this time in Babylon, maybe Chazelle didn't want to exactly tackle it, but there's a lot more female directors back then. There was a lot more people of color back then, like on screen before it became, what it was then. And so that's only dealt with in about a 10-minute scene, 15-minute scene. Like he doesn't, I guess the ending, and then at the end he watches Gone with the Wind. He's like, isn't it beautiful? I'm like, what's beautiful? A place where women are almost killed actors. They're treated like disposable trash, and like
Mm-hmm.
you gotta like put blackface on people, to make
Right.
them even darker. You got to do this. Like women are thrown out because of their voices. Like audiences just turn on you. Production people are spending money left and right. People are destroying cameras. People are dying. But then he watches it and he goes, "Oh, this is the power of cinema." And I'm like, "Come on, y'all! Like, I don't like the. I guess sometimes I just don't like the. I love movies, man. I've always loved it. I make my money writing about movies, but I think I have a much different look at it than I don't have a much of a romantic ideal towards cinema than like a lot of people have. And so I think sometimes when movies really idealize movies, like the filmmaking aspect and the way it did it, like Brad Pitt's like, I will be on this screen and it'll change people's lives and millions of people will see it. And like, yeah, but you're getting paid this amount from a producer who wants to make this because they have a 3 picture deal.
Right.
You're talking to someone to do this. Like, so yeah. But yeah, so maybe La La Land talking about like I'm gonna be a celebrity but I gotta be on my own and I gotta make it and I got these auditions, but it's the power of cinema and
I think part of that might just be that like if anything that you kind of make your job, you sort of might run the risk of like not loving with full purity, right? So like the fact that like you're not Brad Pitt, but you've made a career in two different ways, talk in the movie industry, right? On sets and also, writing about them. And I feel like part of it's just like it feels like work, maybe in a way, right? Like
well,
thinking of
well,
like watching a movie about movies is like, oh, like this is just it's like work on work on work or some I don't know. I get it.
Bowfinger is one of my favorite movies because it treats cinema as like kind of a cesspool of like people suffering to make movies and making in like uber low budget movies. And you have Eddie Murphy. Have you seen it, Bowfinger?
I have not yet. That's one of my co-hosts'
Oh,
favorite movies from '99. We have not gotten to that yet. Are we doing it? I don't think we're doing it this upcoming
oh,
season. We're doing it soon, I think.
it's
So
incredible, and but it's so cynical. So I think maybe that's why I love that movie. It doesn't have a romantic idea, like, so it does have a very romantic idea of cinema, but it also understands producing and the
sure.
stars and the struggle to do it. So yeah, I mean, I guess that's what it is. But at the end of the day, Babylon's a finely made, ambitious. You feel the love in it. You feel the energy in it. It's very propulsive. I think they succeeded on all fronts. But yeah, I think it. I don't know if the struggle was there, so then it doesn't. So then it doesn't create like true art, but it's still just a fun movie to watch. Like
Well, I think with the way that you said all that, I think you and Damien Chazelle view movies very differently. Like I think he is either I don't think he's naive or ignorant. I think he's just choosing to see things through rose-colored glasses. And probably as a white dude, he probably not that you're not a white dude, but like he's able to like sort of block out the struggles in a way that like, a woman or a person of color might not be able to or might choose not to. And I think that like I don't think there's an issue with that. I think that if that's your only perspective, there might be an issue, but like you can go see more realistic, more probably depressing versions of the history of Hollywood elsewhere, right? But I think
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
making escapist, idealized, fun. It's like, oh, there's some darkness here, but like it's gonna be okay. Even though like almost every character in this movie ends up dead,
yeah.
right? Like early in their lives. Man is the only one who lives, and he only lives because he gets out, right? He gets chased out. But like everybody else, I think, basically dies.
Yeah.
So I think he just views movies differently than you. Not that one is right and one is wrong,
Mm-mm.
but if you don't necessarily resonate with his rose-colored glasses of like, aren't movies great? It's like, well, yeah, but there's also more, all right? So I don't know.
No, yeah, he has a. It's a, and it's fine to romanticize things. I guess I've always just been a bit of a realist. Like I kind of, and also I just look at movies in context, and I feel like I try to understand them for what they are. And yeah, but like at the end of the day, I've said this 1,000 times. I, I like this movie, and I
Mhm.
was worried. I felt really bad for it when it tanked, but I also went like, what do you expect? Like when Wonder Woman 1984 got ravaged, I was like, yeah, of course it would. But I still had fun watching it. Like I still, not ironically, I'm not watching these movies ironically. By the way,
Right.
I'm too. I don't have enough energy to watch things ironically.
There's too
And
much to watch to like hate watch or watch things ironically. Just like find things that you want to enjoy watching.
and it also means you're better than something. Like I feel like when
Yeah.
you ironically watch it, you're like, I'm making fun of you because you are bad, and
Hmm.
this makes me feel good. Like I guess I've just never had that in me. So I I don't look at this movie like that, but I yeah, but $15 million, and then it just sort of disappeared. And there's articles out like this is good for Giselle. Like I feel like, hey, you had a movie that you wanted to make for whatever how many years you made it and it blew up. Good for you. This will make you better. No, like don't like that's so easy to write. Like I feel bad for the guy, and so he'll rebound. He'll come back. And like you said, the La La Land love is so strong and shit. Like Fleetwood Mac probably could have made nothing but crap, but then they have their early albums. They're still
Yeah.
gonna be
Well, if you
loved.
make rumors, you're good forever, right? Like you could just
Exactly.
people are like, oh yeah, at least there's rumors, right? Like I will also say, and I don't think that you like I don't need to sell you on this. I think you would agree, and I don't think you're not nearly as critical of this movie as like this defense would entail. But like I would rather watch movies made by people taking swings 100 times out of 100 than a $200 million straight to Netflix movie or the 36th MCU movie or whatever, where it's like, that's what drives me crazy is that people are like, can't believe they're making another Fast and Furious. Can't believe they're making another Marvel movie. And then those same people be like, well, I'm not going to go see that. I don't even know what Babylon is. It's just like, well, you can't hate both things. Like you can't hate that people are trying something new while also being tired of the people making things that are, generating profit, right? Like I don't begrudge Marvel making those movies. I mean, I would like them to be better. I feel compelled to see them because we're 15 years deep into this thing by now and I'm just like I got to see how it plays out. I wish they were better. But like I don't begrudge them for making it because I know that they're going to make 500 million to $1 billion each, right? Like I understand the profits of that, but like I would just rather see people like taking chances and like even if the movie kind of doesn't work at all, at least they tried for something.
That's M. Night Shyamalan to me, man.
Yeah.
I feel like all of his movies, old Magic Beach, as Aaron Newirth would call it, Knock at the Cabin,
I
like
saw a very
his.
good tweet about old. It's just like technically every beach makes you a little bit older. That's not verbatim what it is. It's a better tweet than that. I'll see if I can find it.
But
But like
like,
I'm just like, yeah, it's not they're not wrong.
but he's out
But yeah,
there.
exactly.
He's out there swinging. He's like Marilyn Signs, and he's swinging away. And for me with the Marvel movies, at this point, I think they're really intriguing now because where they're at after these phases and after some disappointments. So it's going to be fun to see how they pivot. So for me, I'm more excited about the MCU now than I was probably for like the last 5 years because it's like where do we go from here now? So it'll
Hmm.
be fun to see how this corporation who did nothing but hits can pivot. So I'm actually quite excited from a producing standpoint to see what these people can do. And but yes, if there's a movie where if someone goes, "Hey, Mark, here's the director who took a huge swing," or "Here's this, which one do you want to watch?" I'm like, "Give me the swing all day, 100 times, 100 out of 100, I would watch." And like big sluggers, they probably bat 250, but 25% of those will be pretty amazing, rather than 80% are pretty good, 9% are like, yeah, that's really good, 10% are like, oh my gosh, that was Mad Max Fury Road. So it's yeah, swing away, Damien, swing away, Joaquin. Hey, Joaquin Phoenix is in Bo's Afraid. Swing away. Go for it. Just take a chance. Make the like, yeah, I dig it. And that's why I'm glad he did this. And I think he'll come back. Man, I think he knows though. I wonder if Damien Chazelle's like, I made a 3 hour long, $80 million movie about the transition to sound. I wonder if he just laughs about it sometimes when he's just running. Like maybe he's on a jog and he just chuckles about it. I doubt it, but still.
No, I think every artist wants to be successful, right? Like I think even if maybe not every artist, I think there are probably some artists who are just like, no one gets me, man. And that's fine. Um, I think he would be happier if people love this movie.
There's just not that core. There's no core relationship. There's no breakup. There's no J.K. Simmons throwing drum kits. There's no just Ryan Gosling first manning it for the long time, or just I mean anytime you have Claire Foy on screen, it's a great thing. So yeah, I guess there's just nothing. There's not much there for people to really attach to. This is more of a roller coaster of a movie that you sort of ride, you get off, and you're like, yeah, that was fun. Like there's not much to absorb there with it. I mean, is there a lot to absorb in this
No,
movie?
I don't think so.
No.
I don't think this movie like rewards rewatching, which I think is like it's there's another podcast I do, How to Win the Lottery, which is a book club podcast, which no one reads books anymore. But if you do read books, check out our podcast. But we talk about how like a lot of books, I think, and a lot of movies, not every movie, but like a lot of movies are, and most art probably is just better the second time, just because you either know what it's doing and can pick up on things, or you can like just learn new things. Like even if you're not like solving the puzzle or whatever of like how it was constructed, you're able to like once you understand the plot and like where things are going, you're able to pick up on nuances and whatever. And I think this is probably, I think it's I think it's maybe you're probably possibly maybe not probably possibly rewarded for rewatching this movie, but I don't think you need to, because I think you kind of get it. And I guess that's what maybe might put some people off too. Just like, yeah, I get it. It's just like cocaine, the movie. It's like, yeah, yeah.
Take a bump, you watch it, you leave.
Um,
That's a really
like I
good
don't think
point.
there's no like character nuance here that I think you're picking up on. Like I think there's like performances and like you can like appreciate new things. And I think you can like, wow, like Margot Robbie really was good. Like let me watch her again. Like that scene where like the female director like understands like what she has in Margot Robbie, just like, wait, can you well up for 2 seconds and on the third one
Uh,
cry? She's like, yeah, okay, sure, yeah. And then she
that's
just does it.
we didn't talk about that part where he's driving to get the film and she is crushing it on set and they both find their success. Like that's my favorite part of this movie, man. Like when she cries on cue and then she
Hmm.
sets up Samara Weaving, the lookalikes, and and she gets her booted out and then she gets the nose job. Like that's when this movie's at its most fun. When he gets the film back, they get that final shot. Like,
Hmm.
do you know why I like that? Is because being on film is working on film sets can be miserable, but there's a high sometimes when you just get something right, when you something happens, like when someone does an incredible stunt, there's that loud applause. So I think that's when this movie's a high for me, is when they're showing how stressful film can be, and those scenes. So yeah, those are, yeah, that's, I'm so happy you brought that up because
And he's also like, that's also nice, like when they have, Brad Pitt getting drunker and drunker and drunker, and like it's a little bit winky of the audience, but like he's writing down like some of the all-time most popular movie quotes, but like he's like making them dirtier, like hasta la vista, MF. It's just like, well, okay. Or like, frankly, my dear, you're a C. It's just like, okay, like there's like, it's knowing and it's winking, but it's still funny because I think he's charming, and I think like the energy is there because they're cutting between Margot Robbie killing it and Diego driving the town, and like Brad Pitt just being Brad Pitt, and like all of it, like it's just like
what I wanted. That's what I
that's
love.
cinema to me. Like that Bong Joon Ho, like to me, that's cinema, right? Like it's just like that's good stuff.
Because I felt it with that camera. I've had to run and get cameras before, and I have no idea what the camera is. They're like, I need a C37. I'm like, okay, well, here's a C37. You're like, okay, cool. And then you have to sprint back, and you're on a full sprint. Or,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've done little things like we need strawberries, and I'm like, I gotta go to Whole Foods, and I floor it to Whole Foods from where we're shooting for this photo shoot, so Chick-fil-A can have the best strawberries on their menus when they take their photos. So there's a high to that. Yeah, that's and like just watching her succeed, and I was always a star. Like I dig that line about her. I love when she says that. Yeah, and like when they're filming on set with the sound, like the initial problems and the screaming, and a lot of ADs do scream. That guy's the AD, he's screaming, like he's moving the set. Uh, I've had to deal with a lot of actors in sound. You get them on set, you could take them to sound. So I think that's probably when this movie really clicks for me. I guess when they take it away to like the tunnels and the rat eating, and the debaucherous parties that, like, I worked on a film, a commercial. I'm not gonna say what it was. Huge Super Bowl commercial, and some people had to go clean up for the producers' hotel rooms before the maids got there.
Mm,
They had to clean up the hotel room before it was cleaned up. That's Yeah, I guess that's what. So that's what kind of annoys me too when he's like, "Oh, the power of cinema." I'm like, no, it's not that. It's not. It's
right.
not cleaning up. But no, that I think I'm so glad you brought that up. I'm glad we touched on that. That's when he says, "That dude's so good, man." I was thinking to myself, I would hire Manny. If I had a job, Manny would work for me.
Well, there's also
It-
the scene where oh god, what's his name from Curb, Jeff Garlin is like watching him, like he's basically promoted him. Also, Flea is in this movie as like a normal dude, kind of, which is like weird. Like Flea's supposed to be the weird guy, but like he's the normal guy in this movie. It's very strange. But like when Jeff Garlin is watching Manny do his thing, and like he just knows, like he just has the sense and just like, oh, I made the right decision here. And like that's cool, like to see because like Brad Pitt's always like we see him at the tail end of his career, literally. We see Margot Robbie like she's a very specific thing, but it seems like Manny is just like he was born to do this and he didn't have the chance for any number of reasons. And like seeing him like nail the role of director, producer, whatever exactly he's doing on that set is just it's cathartic, it's rewarding.
and then it all gets taken away from him. But then, like, I think his turn too when he has to speak to Lady Feiju, when he has to go talk to her about the relationship that she has and send her away. When he has to come up, when he goes up to Sydney Palmer and like I feel like that happens so quick. Like you never get his kind of turn into capitalist filmmaker. But I still love. I just like his presence on screen. I don't know. I would hire him. Maybe that's my main thing. I'm like, this dude. I would work with this guy. That was cool. And one thing I like too is in the 1920s, I really liked how everyone came home from these long nights, and then someone's staying at like a boarding house. Margot Robbie lived in absolute squalor. Then you have, Lady Faye. She lives with her parents. Like
Yeah.
she just does. And so you have these people that are stars, but the money wasn't there yet because it was more about the art and just the community before the money came in. Those are like the nicest touches of the movie to me,
Yeah.
I would say.
Sydney Palmer going home and like basically having two chairs as a bed, maybe, right? Like where he just like
Mhm.
sits down on a chair and puts his feet up and then just like drapes a jacket over himself to get some sleep. It's just like, man, that's Lady Fei Zhu is played by Lee Jun Lee.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
like just people appreciated her art. She worked in the cinema, like, and but
Mm-hmm.
that's what it was. Like there was a lot more there's a lot more female directors before sound got involved. So just adding those little touches in there and knowing what I know about the kind of switch over to sound, that those are little things that made me happy. Like because I guess, oh hey, I knew that. That was neat. I guess my main problem is the idealization of cinema is
Sure.
is it's uh, it's a business, and I get why Giselle loved filming in the 20s because it was like the Wild West before it was became like a massive money making venture. It was more just like some really drunk weirdos, millionaires making movies and throwing parties and shooting crazy stuff. So yeah, yeah. Once again, I like Babylon. Hire Manny. And can we do something real quick?
Yeah.
All right. You got me like obsessed with this idea
Okay.
because you asked me to put together my favorite movies since like 2018, 2019.
Oh yeah. I haven't but as we record this, I'm doing another draft tomorrow, the years of 2012 to 2014. I'm already like stressing because I'm just like, how do I make sure that I get Spring Breakers and Cloud Atlas and Upstream Color and Under the Skin and The Guest and It Follows? Like even narrowing it down to 3 years, it's like,
It's
oh
insane.
boy, it's
So
tough.
that's why I'm going to kill you here. We're going to go since 2018 to now.
Oh no, Mark, that's too many years.
Yeah. So we're going to go all right, how about this? We'll do 2018 to 2020.
Okay.
How's that sound?
Still tough, but okay.
All right, 2018 to 2020. I'll give you first pick.
How many doing in total? Five?
5, yeah.
Okay. You like five, which I appreciate. It's a known quantity with you.
All right, so what's your first pick?
2018 to 2020.
I got
I
some
don't want
good
to
one.
drag this out too long because
I got
I
some
know that you have to
fire.
edit this.
Do you want me to pick one?
No, I want you gave me first pick. I want to go first. I want to actually have the benefit of I will go because I didn't get it in the other draft that I did, and because I love it, and because we mentioned in here, I will go Annihilation.
Annihilation. Oh, yeah, that's a really good one. Covered on movies, films, and flicks. Annihilation. I'm taking Portrait of a Lady on Fire. Any list without Portrait of a Lady on Fire is. Oh man,
I saw that movie with a friend and she went to the bathroom during the titular scene when they're on the beach
Oh,
and she came back and I'm like, you picked the worst time to go to the bathroom. She's like, what did I miss? I'm like, I don't know, like the most important scene in the movie, maybe not the most important, but I mean, like the scene that gave it its name.
and I watched that movie, and my wife and I immediately researched the cinematography, and just we looked at the cameras, the lenses that were shot. Just man, Little Mom. All right, so what's your
Oh
second
man,
pick?
Little Mom. I love Little Mom. I'm gonna throw a curveball here. I'm gonna go World of Tomorrow Part 3. World of
World.
Tomorrow Episode 3. Full title: The Absent Destinations of David Prime.
Wait, so World of Tomorrow, Ep 3?
Episode 3. Have you seen these? The
No,
Don Hertzfeld ones?
no, I'll have to.
Oh man.
I got a new movie to watch.
They're so the first one's like probably 15 minutes, the second one's probably like 25 minutes, the third one's like 45 minutes. They're wonderful.
okay. Ooh, all right. I got something new to watch.
World of Tomorrow Episode 3. The
I'm gonna
Absent
take
Destinations of David Prime.
Martin Eden for my number two. Kino Lorber.
Martin Eden. Okay.
Incredible movie. I love
I'm going to
Martin
go with a
Eden.
movie that I took in my other draft that I think is maybe the performance of the millennium so far, possibly. Her Smell.
Which Her Smell? Okay.
Yeah, because I think Elizabeth Moss in that movie is unbelievably good.
Oh, she's so good, man.
She's good in everything she does, but you know.
Who are you gonna like this one? The Night Comes for Us.
Ooh, yeah.
Listen, that movie's crazy.
That's Timo, right? Timo directed that?
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
insane.
Yeah, man.
Joe Taslim, Ego. Oh, Julia Estelle, the operator, so good.
Man,
Right.
oh man. All right.
Fourth pick.
My number 4. I'm gonna go. It's not the movie you and I maybe love her most in, but it's a movie that I love her a lot in, and I think you love her a lot in. I'm gonna go Shiva Baby. Get some Rachel Sennett up in here.
She's
Upper
the best.
middle class.
I don't
Not
know
that
why
movie, but you know, still the.
I don't know why I love that line so much, but
It's just because man, she's perfect. She's unbelievably funny.
just like you're upper middle class, like well, at a public university. I feel like I've heard that argument before, and it just makes me so happy. All right, I'll take Crawl for my number 4 pick. Listen, guess how much Crawl cost to make?
$35. Like no, like 10 million.
12.5.
All right,
But it's one of the best $12.5 million movies I've ever seen in my life.
great value.
Alejandro Aja, Piranha 3D. He's an absolute master. I think he give him a nice, a smaller budget. You watch Oxygen, you watch Crawl, you watch like High Tension, you watch Piranha 3D. Crawl's perfect. Crawl's a perfect movie. Perfect. Perfect. All right. So that's mine. What's your
My final pick, right?
yeah.
I'm gonna go with I got 2. Do I go with the one that I like more, or do I go with the one that I was gonna take first that I didn't take in my other draft? I'm gonna go with the one that I didn't take in the other draft. I'm leaving maybe my favorite movie in this time period on the table. I'm not taking Midsummer. That's my honorable mention. But I'm gonna go with another one of my favorite, I think, best actors working today. I'm gonna go with Jesse Buckley in Wild Rose.
Oh my gosh. I you, I have that vinyl soundtrack. Like that's her best performance. Like that's an amazing.
I also realized it just took like her that and Her Smell are like tonally very different, but also like at their core very similar. Like just two struggling musicians. Man, oh boy, that soundtrack, that song.
I'm gonna take Baccarat.
Okay,
Beautiful Kino Lorber 2019 movie. Have you ever watched it? It's like a Brazilian
I don't
film.
think I have. That's on. Well, I told you, people don't know this publicly, but I have a list on Letterboxd that is private. It's called Mark, and it's all the movies you told me to watch that I have not yet watched.
Oh man,
And Baccarat was on there,
dude.
along with Martin Eden.
Oh, Martin Eden. We left out Mandy.
We left out so many movies,
Upgrade.
man. That's the thing. That's okay.
Dolomite Is My Name.
When we were talking before, like I looked it up when we were talking about cult movies and what's going to survive. We'll play a guessing game. On Too Fast, we play the Letterboxd guessing game, and somehow my co-host, this is not the game we're going to play, but he's absurdly good at just guessing numbers with random minimal context. How many movies do you think were released, according to Letterboxd, in 2020? No, let's start in 1982. I looked up 1982 and I looked up 2022. So 40 years difference. How many movies do you think were released according to Letterboxd? How many movies on Letterboxd can you log from the year 1982?
Do I have to get a calculator out? I'm not looking at I'm not looking at numbers. I'm just gonna
You're fine.
around the world, right?
Yeah, I think just anywhere, yeah, that qualifies.
2,600.
You're not entirely, you're not wildly far off. It's 4701.
Oh,
4701, okay?
wow.
That's 1982. How many do you think came out last year, 2022?
Oh, that's gonna be. Let's see.
4701 in 1982. How many think came out last year?
Okay, so around the world, content pushing, making this more than that a week. That doesn't seem right. That's way too low. 7,800.
33,000. So when we talk about
Oh
what's going to
goodness.
survive, the answer is I don't
Nothing.
know.
Crawl.
Also the thing is like there's so many movies on the table. It's like, yeah, because like there have been in those 3 years like 60 movies that at any given time are like, this is my favorite movie of all time. You know what I mean? It's just like, whereas in 1982, it's just like, yeah, there's 8 movies that I love. It's like
The
that's a
thing.
great year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just picking like an arbitrary number, who knows, right? But like it's 33,000 versus 4,700. That's almost 10 times as many movies. Like that's not, I don't think that's a good thing.
No.
It's more like 7 times. It's 7 times, but like that's crazy. And I know that a lot of those are probably like something that like a dude made and uploaded to Amazon Prime, right? As opposed to like it has to there's more ways to release movies now, but like 33,000.
Digital made it so much easier too. It'd be interesting to see the difference between like when maybe Collateral is coming out or Session 9 when HD started, when filming on like non-film started, digital, and then now because the film just made it so expensive. Like you just had to get the film, you got to shoot the film, you got to process the film, you got to edit the film, you got to. That's tough. So now you can just plop a memory card into a computer, and you got yourself a film you can edit.
Well, this movie, like Babylon, does not go into that like the craft of it as much as it could.
Yeah.
But that scene where like Brad Pitt's like take 2 frames off the top, three frames off the bottom, it's just like that's a skill that's like that still exists, but like it's in a different form now, right? But it's like the actual cutting of a thing, or like, oh no, we cut too much, we gotta like tape it back together, or like it just the actual making, like then dyeing it, like it comes out red for just when they get into craft in this, I think it's fascinating.
I mean,
that's not the movie he's trying to make. Like he doesn't really care about that. Like at least
yeah, that's a great point. Like, there's no like Technicolor, like it's still black and white. But yeah, there's like we got to shoot it like this and we got to develop it like this. Now take it over to the studio, have them cut it like this. Let me go watch the dailies on this, and we'll cut it through here. We'll see what's going on. They don't even talk about the lights, how bright they had to run them, like how hot it was. Like it's they did have to talk about how hot it was inside the filming thing, but like this, yeah, I think this movie is more about a feeling than a history lesson. But I guess I just wanted a history lesson, which isn't fair because movies shouldn't be what you want. Like, I guess the worst thing for me is when someone reviews a film and they say, this wasn't what I wanted. I went into the movie expecting this and I got this, thus I don't like it. I think that's a problem with reviewing because it doesn't mean a movie's bad. It's just not what you wanted.
And I think that's partly like that's not the reason I don't watch trailers, or I try not to watch trailers. Like I try not to watch trailers because I think trailers are largely cut now to include the film's best moments, the best jokes, the best action scenes, whatever, just to get people in seats. And then once they're there, they don't care that they've spoiled movies. Like that's why I don't really watch trailers. And I know that like not every trailer does that, but like a lot of trailers ruin the best parts of movies. But I also think that like I try to go into movies kind of blind. It's just like, all right, it's like I know that there's like a new Damien Chazelle movie coming out. I don't need to know anything about it. Like I trust him enough that whatever he wants to make, I want to go see. So like going into like as blind as possible, like I'm not tainted by like, well, I thought it was going to be this and it turned out to be that. Like I like going in as blind as I possibly can. Oh, there's a new movie coming out starring Sasha Lane or whatever. Like, like How to Blow Up a Pipeline. I'll go see it. She's great. You know what I mean? It's just like my bar to watch a movie is so low that I think I afford myself the opportunity to like not know anything about a thing, just go to see a thing. And I know that's different for people who like see like 2 movies in theaters a year. Like they're gonna like, I want to make sure that this time is used valuably. But for me, it's just like, no, man, I'm gonna go see it because it's got like an actor I like, or it's written by a guy that I like, or it's made by a woman that I like, or whatever, right? So
there's a catapult in it. I'll go see it.
Yeah. There's a sidekick. If there's a crocodile.
If there's a kitchen fight, I'm there. Like I'm sold on so many things. But hey, man,
Vin Diesel's not wearing sleeves.
Man, that was so good. Hey, so I've kept you here way too long, but you want to promote your podcast, and I'll put them down in the post and everything whenever we
Sure.
release this. But yeah, man, tell
Yeah,
tell us everyone again about your shows.
go to cageclub.me for all the shows. It's the network that I run. We've got a bunch of different shows. I do 3 currently. Every Tuesday is Too Fast, Too Forever. Mark has been on there more than any other show that I do over there. We talk about Fast and Furious movies and alternate with Fast and Furious adjacent movies. We are entering Fast 10 season. Fast 10 your seatbelts, as the people like to say. So we got a lot of content coming up there, previews, reviews, episodes, all sorts of stuff like that. That's every Tuesday. Every other Thursday is How to Win the Lottery. It's my book club podcast. We are currently in the middle of actually tying into movies. It's called the unadaptable module. It's half movies that are, or half books that are becoming movies, and half books that we think can never become movies. So you can check out the reading list at How to Win the Lottery. But we just did the book. Actually, I don't know. I can't. We're ahead because we have to read Infinite Jest, and it's going to take us a very long time. But like this season, we're doing like a new Jonathan Glazer movie. We're doing a new movie by. Hold on.
Is this your first Infinite Jest read?
This is my first Infinite Jest read.
Nice.
I'm very excited about it. New movie by Duke Johnson called The
Duke
Actor.
Johnson?
Yeah. So like we're doing some good stuff there. And then every other Monday is 1999, the podcast where we're going through the movies of 1999. If John will let me bully him into it, we'll go to the year 2000, which I don't think is going to happen. But we are at the end of our 3rd season. We're going into our 4th season and just kind of, working our way through one of the best years in cinema history, which of course has Deep Blue Sea. So check that out. But I also do, podcasts about Nicolas Cage and Keanu Reeves and Tom Cruise and Tom Hanks. We caught up on all those. So it's just like whenever those guys have new movies coming out.
Zac
And also
Efron.
I'm slowly working my way through the films of Elvis Presley with my friend Mike. And those are better than I thought they were going to be. So check those out too. But everything's at cageclub.me. Just go there, poke around. You can search for Mark's name and you can find every episode that he's been on because he's tagged in all those things. So if you want more of his voice, which after 500 something or, almost 500 episodes of the show, I don't know who would. I don't know who wants to hear my voice, but just go to cageclub.me, search Mark, and you'll find episodes.
I liked what we talked about on Last Witch Hunter. I like that. It was a
fun
discussion.
episode.
Yeah, it was good. And Four Brothers talking about back punches. I'm all about those back punches.
And then what was Witch Hunter the one you were just on? I feel like there was maybe one more recently, but I don't know.
I think I've done 3, right? I did Too Fast, Too Furious.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I did
Witch Hunter,
Four Brothers,
and
then Witch Hunter.
Yeah, very cool.
John Singleton. He's the man. Missed that guy. All right,
you've done two of the 3 episodes you've done are John Singleton movies. So
oh man, Too Fast. It's still my favorite. I just watched every frame of those movies, and it's still my favorite by far.
Love it. Love it.
Tokyo Drift bounced. I think 6 is my second favorite now.
We did because we finished our 12th time through the movie, so I did my new rankings, and I had 3 different sets of movies flip flop.
Yeah, it's so it's 1. No, it's 2, 6, 3. Those are my 3 favorites.
2, 6, 3.
2.
I go 5, 1, 6.
Nice. Do you think if everyone did their rankings 6, it would probably come down to 5 or 6 or
so we
1
have
or 7.
hold on, I can bring it up. Like this can maybe be this is where we cross over, Mark. This is Fast and Furious and Data, right? So we have rankings from 80 people now.
Ooh, what's number 1? 5?
Fast 5.
Yeah.
Fast 5 is an average placement of 2.3, 2.31.
What's 6?
395, which is just so Furious 7 is 396. So 6 and 7 are basically identical, but ahead of them, very, very barely at 383 is the first one. But it goes 5, 1, 6, 7. And there's kind of a big jump. And then Tokyo Drift.
What's last? Fast and Furious?
Fate.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Fate is last. Hobbs and Shaw is next to last. Fast and Furious. Too Fast, sorry, and F9's in the middle somewhere.
I mean,
F9's been dropping lately.
That's pretty good for Too Fast. I'm happy it's in there. I don't expect everyone to love that movie. I'm just Florida. I'm a Florida guy, so I love that movie. But hey, man, thank you so much for joining me, dude. This was wonderful.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so for me, Mark Hoffmeyer, for Joy Lewandowski, this is Movie Sounds Licks. We'll see you next week.